Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Zoomed In. I'm your host, Brandon Chapman, and I'm so glad to be joined by Kellie Fremont. She's an alumna of Washington State University. She's a diehard Cougar. You can see it from her lanyard that she's wearing. Uh, and if you were able to see the name tag as well, you'd see Bethel School District, where she's the Assistant Director of Secondary Teaching and Learning. So Kellie, first of all, congratulations on the big news that I'm going to announce. You have endowed a scholarship. Now, of course, this is bittersweet because it's in the name and the memory of a friend of yours that was tragically taken from us too soon. But congratulations on endowing a scholarship, because that's huge. First of all, it's a lot of money, and people that do that realize that it's going to make a difference. So that's first what I wanted to talk about, and then I want to really get into why this was done in your friend's name and some of just her positive traits. You know, the kind of things that she left a legacy of. So let's talk about that first. Tell us about the scholarship, what you're hoping for, what kind of student would be applying for this scholarship. And I will mention it is called the Amy Hanford Erwin Memorial Scholarship. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, thanks. I should start first by clarifying that while my husband and I, we contributed a good chunk of money to it, and we got the paperwork rolling and coordinated with College of Education to start the scholarship. The best way to describe this effort is a collaborative one, because Amy was a teacher in the Sumner area. She worked with me at the Sumner School District at Victor Falls Elementary School. And as a result of being a teacher there for 12 years, and previous to that, she worked at the Enumclaw School District, she impacted hundreds of kids and their families in positive ways. And when we lost Amy, people wanted to do something. And one of the things that they did was to contribute to the scholarship. So it was really important to me to find out, working with the scholarship people at WSU, to find out who was contributing. And it was touching to see that not only were Amy's family contributing to this, and she's a Cougar legacy kid. So she had aunts and uncles and her mom and sister and nieces contributing, but her former students and the parents of her former students and her teacher colleagues and her neighbors and community members. So it was a group effort that made this happen. So I wanted to put that out there first.
Sure, and you're the steward then. You're the one who's kind of managing that effort.
Yep. So we're glad to do that, and it happened really quickly. Once we put that out there, I am not a social media guru in any way, shape, or form, but I managed to do a little bit of emailing here and a little bit of stuff on Facebook, and before you know it, it took off.
That's the way it happens sometimes on social media. Before you even know, things just happen. So yes, May 27th, 2011. It was a tragic day, but this scholarship is not named after you. It's named after someone else. And usually when people do that, it's because that individual created something that positively affected other people. They were selfless. They were some kind of characteristic that was noble. And those are the kind of people that folks name scholarships after. So you mentioned teaching with her or being with her at the school district, and she was a kindergarten teacher. She was a third grade teacher, before she left us at only 42 years old. And so certainly her legacy, of course, there was much left, right, to build on that. But she definitely made a difference with all these people that donated. So what kind of characteristics did you see in her, that really positively affected you?
Well, Amy had a motto. I don't even think she realized that it was her motto, but in her death, it was something that a lot of us reflected on. And she had a sign in her classroom, and it said, "Because nice matters." And that sign really sums up who she was. Being kind and compassionate and having empathy for others, that defines who she was. I met Amy at WSU. in our very first math methods class. I was trying to remember the title of the class, but I don't remember what it's called. And we then, as a result of being elementary education majors, ended up going through the same courses for several years. And we just were joined at the hip, and we had some other friends who were too, and they have contributed to the scholarship as well. But after graduation, just as a coincidence, we ended up being hired to teach in the same area and became roommates. And this is one of the reasons that I have like many of her friends, a long relationship with Amy. She made friends and kept friends because she valued friendship. And she was a hugger. That's one of the things that we miss the most about her, her strong hugs and her warmth. She had a twinkle in her eye. And these were things that whether you were a friend or you're a kindergartner, you appreciated about her. And then when she left us, we missed so terribly. And circling back to her motto, because nice matters, something that was really touching to me is that the students who were third graders in her class the year that she was killed were seniors this year. And they, on their graduation announcements, put the words, because nice matters.
Wow.
And I think,
Jeez.
So the scholarship is one thing, but then to know that a group of, 8-year-old kids, that she meant that much to them, that they needed to somehow remember her in a time that's so important to them. I think that just illustrates who she was.
And we mentioned social media, and of course, 2020 has been a weird year and things are just fractious right now. What a better time to have that motto than 2020 with all the just the stuff that's out there that is not nice, That's great. That story hits all the feels, as the young people say, That's cool. So I would imagine that you will have a say in, the kind of questions that are going to be asked for the scholarship applicants. Is NICE going to be part of that? Is there going to be a question that deals with beyond here, how much stuff are you adding to the portfolio? But maybe, really dives into that character and that trait of niceness.
Yes, I hope so. When we wrote the scholarship description, for lack of a better way to describe it, I did that in collaboration with Amy's mom. And we were thinking about, because this is something to do with teaching, of course, any teacher wants their students to achieve academically, but Amy wanted that and more. She wanted kids to be happy. She wanted them to be proud of themselves. She wanted them to be kind to others. And so if I had the opportunity to be part of what the question writing or the screening process is for anyone who receives that would be really important to know that someone who receives the Amy Hanford Erwin Memorial Scholarship demonstrates all of those characteristics and is also well-rounded and still hopeful for things that kids have to offer our world.
That's really neat. The way, and for those who are viewing that don't understand the way the endowed scholarships work, it's not a donation that immediately goes directly from one to another. So it's taken, it's invested, there's a certain percentage of that so that in perpetuity, like every year, that this can continue to give, which means an endowed scholarship, people can continue to give to that endowed scholarship and grow that endowment even more. So, again, this is in its infancy, Kellie, but and some of the specifics, the development office would understand. But I would imagine you already are maybe vaguely aware of if people want to donate to this and grow this even more. If maybe the kindness element really speaks to them, I'm sure that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the scholarship process. We had, my husband and I had some options about what we would we could have done with the scholarship, but it was really important for us to have something that would be long lasting, because we wanted to make sure that Amy's memory lasted for a long time. And I think you pointed out that some of the times that we're finding ourselves in right now, where everything is so up in the air, I think that a person like her would probably provide some comfort and stability to us in these crazy times.
Yeah. Now, because you were in school together, I can't help but ask if you have any good, funny memories or anything that you want to tell from the, days in Pullman, whether it was, 3 feet of snow or, some crazy football game or something that you might have gone to. If you have any funny memories that you can tell.
Funny that you mentioned snow, because it does have to do with snow. And I'll probably date myself because I'll describe the campus at the time, because I know Burger King's not still there, but Burger King used to be.
I remember. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Used to be by the cavern, and I think there was a Kinko's too right there.
Yeah, back where the Little Caesars used to be and some other stuff. Yeah, now it's a Taco Bell where the Burger King used to be. Yeah.
Well, we needed to do an assignment for like an elementary science course or something. And now that I think about the assignment, it was kind of dumb, but we had to do it anyway. And
we don't have any of those anymore, by the way.
No dumb science. We had to do a model of the universe. So we bought a bunch of styrofoam balls of different shapes to represent the planets. And then we were sitting in Burger King and we were coloring all of the styrofoam balls and then we had string on them and we, whatever. And then we stepped out into onto the sidewalk, and we'd driven there. Amy was a driver. She drove every place. And, I didn't mind walking the hills of Pullman, but she preferred to drive. So we happened to drive there. And we were got into the car, drove down to where our class was, I think it was down by Bryan Hall. And when I was getting out and I was holding the model, I caught my foot in her seatbelt because I was in the back seat. And I fell headfirst into the snowbank, and I broke the model, and the styrofoam balls got wet, and I completely ruined it. But she was, to me, my last good friend who, I'm gonna try not to cry. Made me laugh so hard I couldn't breathe. And that was one of those times.
Thank you. I know in hindsight, I'm sure it wasn't funny when you broke the styrofoam display bin.
We all laughed really hard. I don't even.
Oh, okay.
We did. No, we laughed hard.
Yeah, it won't surprise you to know that with all the changes in Pullman at WSU, we still get snow. Now this is, for everybody who's watching, this is being released in early November, but the recording, I'll just put it out there. We're in late October, and we're supposed to get snow in Pullman tonight, like before Halloween even. We're supposed to get snow, so it's one of those crazy years. Just a front coming through that could dump the white stuff. That's a really cool story, and I appreciate you mentioning that. The scholarship again is called the Amy Hanford Erwin Memorial Scholarship, and because it is a newer scholarship, we're still building the web pages and all that. But here's my commitment, because I know a guy who runs the website for the College of Education. So when the page is built and it's connected to the foundation and all that's it's in the works right now, but when all that is finalized, I will put this on the front of the college website. I'll work with you for or one of Amy's family members for a great photo. And but if you do have any pictures of your college days, that would be great. And I will commit to putting that on there, and let's just see about getting this to grow, because I would love to see a very deserving WSU pre-service teacher receive this scholarship. So thank you so much. You have an open mic, so if there's anything you want to say before we end, absolutely.
You can probably tell by my background, I'm at work.
Yeah.
What was it? things that I keep in my, two of the things actually I keep in my office are my apple that I received when I graduated from WSU College of Education. There were these little wooden apples, and
We still have those.
I
Yeah,
have,
we still do that.
I always had mine, but when Amy died, you know, and I guess an unfortunate circumstance of when someone passes away, you know, you're offered to some things. And so I have hers too. So in my office, it's important to me that I have hers, and mine is behind me there, because we started this path together, and I will keep her with me as I continue it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I appreciate that. That's like the little heart pendants, you know, that you split in half. So
I'm not going to stand up and get them, but I should have had them right here so I could hold them up.
that would have been a very compelling video, though, to watch you walk with your laptop over.
Though I would have revealed that I also have gray pants on because I want to do the crimson and the gray. So.
Well, I'm wearing a pair of sweats here at the bottom. So, but Kellie, thank you so much. I really do appreciate this. I think this is awesome. It will positively affect, you know, some students' life to be receiving this every single year whatever that rotation is for the scholarship. I just think that's awesome. It's a way to help Amy's memory live on. Thank you for, you know, just spearheading this, and of course, as we always say, go Cougs.
Yes, go Cougs.